Hi, Renuka. How are you?
Hi, Alisa. Good.
I
How are
suppose
you?
I'm fine. I suppose our little pester Eric is there. Hi, my love.
He's again shifting his glasses. He's saying, "Hello, mom. It's Professor Erik."
Professor, oh, I was just going to say that. I knew I messed up. Professor Eric. What you got for us today, Professor Eric?
He's written on the board, how does karma get accumulated? He said, "Mom, we have started this karma series.
Right.
And last lecture, we understood what is karma and what balancing karma actually means.
Right.
So I'm going to brush up a few pointers from the last lecture, and then we'll go forward to understanding how karma gets accumulated in the first place. And then the need arises to balance it, right? So initially, how does it gets accumulated? Why it gets accumulated, from which lifetime? That entire process. He's saying when we are trying to balance karma in our lives, it's very important we understand karma from all of its facets, from all the phases. And he's saying we have learned and understood the journey of the soul. So it's important we start with karma now, because right now we are in this physical lifetime, and this is the reality consciously we're experiencing right now. So we need to understand everything connected to this reality, and karma forms a huge part of our reality and huge part of our purpose here also. He's saying, Mom, there's nothing else. If it's all about learning and experiencing, then it's all about karma, because that's what we call karma.
True. That's true.
And he's writing in bold letters, on the board, karma equal to pending lessons.
Yes. Eric, I think you're going to be a tenured professor here pretty soon. You're going to get tenure. You're doing so good. Of course, you're tenured. All right.
Eric. He's saying, Mom, I own this university.
I know. Yeah.
So he's saying today we'll learn how does karma gets accumulated in first place, and that's how we'll come to balancing it, right? So last time we understood what is karma and what balancing this karma actually means. We have always understood karma means pending lessons. There's nothing else but pending lessons. That's all. So he's saying first we'll understand how first karma is created. He's saying we've spoken about it in our previous lectures, but I would like to repeat it because it will create a flow for the viewers to understand it much better.
Okay.
So he's saying first lifetime, he's saying, Mom, first lifetime, there is no karma. When a soul is choosing and deciding the first lifetime, the first soul plan in the spirit world, there is no karma involved. The concept of karma has still not come into the picture, because we are still choosing our first lessons.
Right.
So every spiritual contract we enter into, it's probable karma. And how he's explaining that, he's saying first soul plan, if I choose an agenda of learning certain 20 to 25 lessons, he's saying let's stick to 20 lessons, and I choose different spiritual contracts to learn these 20 lessons from, means 20 souls, 20 relationships,
right?
And he enters into contract with these souls. There's an exchange, of course. He says, if I am planning to reincarnate and it's my first lifetime, first soul plan, and I enter into spiritual contracts with different souls, and I choose different relationships according to the type and nature of lessons my soul wants to learn, because every relationship, Mom, is based on certain facet of emotions, certain timeline of emotions you go through in every relationship, and these emotions will lead to particular lessons that you have to learn. So I choose accordingly the relationships which will teach me the specific lessons. So if I am choosing to learn 20 lessons from 20 odd spiritual contracts, he's saying, mind you, Mom, I can choose to learn one or more lessons from a particular relationship. It's not important. I'll choose just one lesson, and that's why our relationships are so complicated. That's why the relationships trigger so many emotions. So I think it's up to me. And the first soul plan, I have all the free will to choose whatever I want, whatever lessons, whatever spiritual contracts, whatever relationships. He's saying, so I'll go to the Akashic records. I will see who all are planning to reincarnate, all are planning to reincarnate at the time I'm going to reincarnate in the specific country, in the physical orbit I'm going to reincarnate. He's saying, like we have discussed, Mom, the first soul plan, we always choose our mother first. And
really?
It's a really...
That makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Wait. Before you go on, Eric, what is what does Akashic records look like to you? And then, sorry, I
So,
don't want to forget that.
so I don't know how it looks to them, but the way I have experienced it, he says it's whatever you wish it to be. And whenever I go and access Akashic records for myself, for others, initially it used to appear like a huge library.
Oh,
I used to see these huge doors, and these doors will open. And of course, I always visit the records with Erik because I feel more confident when he is beside me. And he always takes me to the records. He taught me how to access the records. So every time I go.
You do this for your clients?
Yes.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
I have been doing this.
Yeah.
So initially, these used to be huge libraries and huge library, and there used to be huge bookshelves. And when I used to go, there used to be a huge table, and he used to ask me to sit down, and he used to say, whose record you want? And he used to go in the aisles of those huge library, and he'll pick out just one huge journal kind of a book, and he'll keep it in front of me, say, this is the Akashic record. And interestingly, the first page will always reveal the soul name of that particular person, not the legal original name in this physical reincarnation.
Wow.
So you can always access your soul name because every soul has a name.
Well, what is my soul name, Erik? Or maybe you can't figure that out without going to the Akashic records. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So he's saying, Mom, I can, but I need to first focus on what we are talking.
Yeah, I got you down a rabbit hole. Go ahead. Sorry, but I'm so curious about.
He wants to answer. Yeah. He's even showing me the vision now. So there's this huge library, and whosoever record I want, Erik will just pull out and he'll keep it in front of me, and I will see the soul name and all the details. And if I want to know the present and the future, I need to go to that date in that huge thick journal. At times, there always has been times where I'm in a workshop and I need to access a recorder and information instantly, and he just takes me to a cinema hall. There's this huge hall, and this whole cinema hall is empty, and there's this huge screen, and he's running around with the remote, and he asks me, do you want to access it? And we just click on the remote, and we see visions, we see moving pictures, movies, like the future, how it is going to be, and again, probabilities of those futures, not just one future.
Right.
So it has come like a library, it has come like cinema halls. But what he says is, it's whatever you want that dimension to be, however you like to access information. It can also be a Akashic Google, he said.
Yeah.
Cool.
You
can see a huge computer screen and it's Google, and you just type your question and the records will send you that answer. He's saying it's how your physical mind is programmed to access information. If you use that same technique, you stand better chances of accessing much more specific information. He's saying, Mom, you should also know that this dimension, they directly respond to your level of vibration, to your level of consciousness.
Oh yeah, makes sense. Yeah, it's all energy.
He's saying there's so much information. The energetic imprint will attract that kind of information, because when you ask a certain question, there are so many answers to it.
Of course. You froze. Oh, okay, we're good. So you want to go back to, first you pick your mom.
Yeah. And then you go to the Akashic records, you pick your mother. And once you pick your mother, the country, the society, the father, the siblings, the neighbors, the extended family, all of it is chosen automatically. You don't need to choose all of it, right?
Oh, okay.
Because the mother is already reincarnated. And he's saying, Mom, at times when the mother has not reincarnated and we are planning that contract while being in the spirit world, it will again fall back to the soul plan that mother, that soul is choosing and planning for itself.
I got it.
Spiritual contracts can be chosen and can be entered into very easily because we have Akashic records. It's so much easier, if you have a list of lessons you're planning to learn in that particular lifetime, you will just ask the Akashic records, which is the best combination of factors in my given future lifetime, which will help me learn these lessons perfectly, which will give me adequate opportunity or chances to learn all of them. It's very easy to plan it. Okay. So he's saying Akashic records are the major factor where you plan your soul plan, where you choose your spiritual contracts, because you see who is going to reincarnate alongside you, who is planning to, take rebirth or the first birth alongside you. And that's how you choose spiritual contracts.
But don't you have somebody to guide you, like another spirit that is like a college counselor sort of thing?
Yes, always. He's saying, yes, mom,
Okay.
always. But these guides also, like if I have chosen something, if I've planned something, they are more of a advisory committee kind of a thing. They will say, oh, this choice is,
Okay.
or maybe you can make a better choice. You think we always choose us. That's what we call free will, you know, that's what we call that writing our own destiny. But yes, we always have advanced master guides and guide souls who will, who will suggest us if it's a right choice, if you can make a better choice, or if you might get stuck with a certain choice. They'll always be there to guide you and warn you. But the final decision, final planning is yours always.
Right.
So he's saying, let's just say I have entered into 20 contracts. And of course, when I come down in the body, there is spiritual amnesia. And I end up respecting only 15 of them. And rest 5, now these spiritual contracts are, you are teaching as well as you are learning.
Right.
You are both the parties. Sometimes you are the teacher, sometimes you are the learner, and there is a third scenario where you are teaching also and you're learning also. And he's saying, no, these are the relationships which we call majorly karmic or highly karmic.
Right. Right.
Because you, both of you in a particular relationship are exchanging lessons. And if you're exchanging lessons, the emotions will run high.
So you're saying it's the highly karmic are the ones where you're both learning and teaching. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay, I got it. Not where
Because
that makes sense. That makes sense.
As opposed to, if I'm only learning and the other person is only teaching,
Okay.
I will be the one getting triggered. The other person will be least bothered because that person is not learning anything and that person will not suffer anything or will not get triggered.
I got it. Okay, it makes sense.
Yeah, and here both the parties are triggering each other because both the parties are learning from each other.
Okay.
So he's saying, supposedly out of those 20 spiritual contracts, I respected 15 of them. And 5 of these spiritual contracts, for some reason, for my conditioning, for my fears, I run away from these relationships. I run away from the situation and I don't learn. He's saying, mom, here what's important to note down is you are creating karma only if you don't learn. It's about you learning. It's not about the other person if you have managed to teach the other person, because that's the free will of the other person, whether that person chooses to learn or not.
So it's basically, if you're supposed to learn but don't take that opportunity, then you accumulate karma.
Karma. Yeah.
Okay, makes sense. Okay.
Because it was planned for that particular lifetime and you failed to keep up that plan. You failed to, balance that account, how much ever you chose to balance in that particular lifetime. Okay. So you think when my soul comes back, these 5 contracts are those 5 pending lessons. You see, this is where we say pending lessons. Why pending? Because they were meant to get over with that particular lifetime. He's saying, now, mom, when I'm planning my second lifetime, obviously these pending lessons I'll choose first in my second lifetime. And when I'm planning my soul plan, they will go first because they were pending from the first lifetime. And after that, I'll choose fresh lessons and fresh spiritual contracts. So he's saying, now, mom, in the first soul plan, I had 100% free will to choose whosoever and whatsoever in my spiritual contracts. But here, if I am again choosing 20 lessons to be learned in the second lifetime, 5 lessons are already chosen. That means that much less free will I have in designing my soul plan. Because those five become compulsorily will get attached to the second soul plan because they are pending. Who enforces that?
Is it a karma police? Who enforces that?
No, he's saying, no, mom, it's me. It's a backlog that I was supposed to finish in my first lifetime. Won't you, mom, when you set out to do your day, won't you like to finish your backlog first? Okay, so your free will already chose those 5 lessons and you come into your, okay, I got it. Okay. And he's saying, mom, I'm not saying you will have to choose it in your second lifetime, the pending 5. I'm not saying that. You can go in for 20 fresh spiritual contracts, but remember those 5 are still pending. Those will be there. How many contracts do you normally come in with? Are you saying 20 is the average or? No, it's just a random example. He's saying, mom, again, it's very subjective, but when you look at your life, the amount of relationships you have chosen, the kind of interaction you have chosen, this karma is related to relationships, right?
Right.
And again, relationships could be major relationships. He's saying, when I say major relationships, I mean relationships where you spend most of your time
Right.
interacting, interrelating with those relationships. And then there are these minor relationships which are very timed, which are very limited. There's limited interaction, limited interrelation. So he's saying, Mom, in your entire country of billions, you choose to interact with few thousands. And in those few thousands, there is important karma and very few relationships where actually emotions are involved. He's saying not all minor relationships will become, they'll be just coming to associate or associate with you to, open up your pathway to meet the actual karmic relationships. Those augmented, supportive people and relationships will come into your life, but not necessarily they'll involve karma. And he's saying, at this point, let me explain then, how do you know which ones are karmic? The relationships which make you feel the most emotions, intense emotions. So according to the intensity of emotions, you will know how much karma that relationship, involves. He's saying, haven't you had relationships where you just had support and just exchange of little bit of help?
Yeah.
And no emotions. Saying there will be many such relationships. Karma is not involved because there is no emotion, and because there is no emotion, there will be no learning.
That's like NPCs, I think it's called, non-playing characters in video games. I got it.
Exactly. Good example. So he's saying, now, second soul plan, I'm not saying you have that compulsion, because it's up to you, Mom. And it's up to the soul characteristic of every person, every soul, because there will be souls who would feel like, finishing the pending lessons first. And there will be souls who they want to just speed ahead with fresh lessons and take care of the pending ones later. It's all about the soul and its free will. But there comes a time, Mom, when these pending lessons are so many, and you have to come back and make sure that these are done. Like, if
you have feel like, how does a person know, wow, I must have a lot of pending lessons? What kind of life is that? A life where people have just hit rock bottom, lots of struggles? I mean,
he's saying, Mom, if you're talking about karma, if you're talking about lessons through relationships, most difficult relationships, most triggering relationships, intensely emotional relationships, that's your sign that you have packaged a lot of karma in this lifetime.
Okay. Got it.
He said, no, we are learning through situations also, situations which life throws at us, where relationships don't come into the picture. And yet we are learning. But the emotions that are involved in relationships and interacting with these relationships, that's huge. So when you're emotionally triggered, when there are a lot of emotions in your life, you feel and experience the highs and lows too much, which are pertaining to the relationships. That's when you say you have packaged a lot of karma. Not to say that you will not feel troubled and in pain when situations come, but those emotions are different now. Those won't hit you as hard. He's saying, and there are lessons there also, but then those are not karmic lessons. These are just lessons which the situations will involve. He's saying major situations are very, it's a very, it's very generalized throughout the globe, throughout the universe. Every human being is affected by certain major situations only. It's same no matter what country you go, no matter what ethnicity or society or culture. Major situations are same. He's saying situation related to your children, issues related, it's a situation, right? Although when you're learning, when you're interacting with your children, it becomes karmic. But then that is a situation also, issues with children. So he's saying that becomes a situation. Like divorce. When you are divorcing, divorce is a situation, and yet it's karmic with your spouse also.
Of course.
So he's saying, Mom, situations will also warrant emotions, but not as strong as and as intense as the relationships will invoke within you. So when you have troubled relationships, very intense relationships, you fall in relationships, you come out of relationships, and relationships are a theme of your life. That's what we had discussed earlier also. It's a karmic soul plan. The lecture where we discussed the theme of the soul plans, a situational soul plan and the karmic soul plan, if you remember. So karmic soul plan is always dependent on traumatic relationships, and situational soul plan is you will face difficult situations and not as difficult relationships. And he's again, writing on major situations where you will learn. So one is money, finances, career, one is health, one is relationship, because situational, it's also situational when you're not able to find a partner or you're not get married. It's a situation, no person is small.
Right.
So situations related to health, finance, money, career, relationships, these are major situations which will teach you. And at the same time, it's not necessarily they'll involve relationship, because these are purely situational and these will warrant lessons too.
Right.
So if you see situations in your life are difficult and relationships are easier, it's a situational soul plan where not much karma is packaged.
Okay.
If you see the situations are okay enough, good enough, but your relationships trouble you a lot of triggering relationships, lot of emotions connected to these relationships, you immediately know you have packaged lot of karma. So if you have a good house, you have a good future, you have a good career, you look good. The looks also form a major situation. Sometimes the world is so superficial nowadays. And you have a good education, you have good career, you have a bright future, you're earning well, your health is good, your situations are taken care of, and your relationships are triggering you at every level. You have issues with every relationship. One relationship gets better, the other relationship goes into turmoil. That's when you say a lot of karma was packaged in your soul plan. So that's how you know that I've packaged a lot of karma, because karma is what? Spiritual contracts, and spiritual contracts are relationships. And you enter into these relationships because you want to learn from them or you want to teach them. So obviously there's karma.
Do we ever come in with both horrible situations and horrible relationships?
He's saying, Mom, we do it very less, because mind you, I'm at the cost of repeating myself. He's saying I'm repeating it again. A soul will not choose such a difficult soul plan for the fear of losing it,
Oh yeah, right.
Fear of not. So most of the times, every soul planning a soul plan chooses a particular theme, which you had explained in previous lectures, that our soul plan has a theme, and you will know the theme of your soul plan according to struggles you are facing. So you think, Mom, I'll not choose both of them because it will make things really difficult for me. Because let's accept, if I don't have money, but I have a loving partner, I'll be able to learn the lesson from the situation which money is bringing in, lack of money is bringing in easier, because I have a loving partner who's supporting me.
Right.
Now, if I have a lot of money, but I don't have a partner, having money will still make my life easier. So he said, but I don't have money, I don't have good relationships to support me. That will bring me really down into the dark hole. That will really be depressing. And I, as a soul, will not take that risk, because trust me, Mom, after taking so many reincarnations, my soul is very intelligent. It knows how it will react once it's in the body. So whenever a soul is planning a soul plan, it's very careful that it's not packaging more than it can handle or deal with when it's back in the body.
Got it. Okay.
This is where the advanced guide souls and the councils also come into the picture, because they are experienced. They know where you can go wrong. They know the loopholes in your planning and they guide you. And you also know, because you have experienced a lot of reincarnations by then, and you know what are the right choices, what will help you stay on track. So you think it's not that we don't get another chance, but as a soul, we would like to make use of every chance, every opportunity of coming down here in the best possible way. So we are always careful. And like I said, we don't package so much of suffering. Our suffering only increases if we go astray from our soul plan. And if we go astray from our soul plan.
Astray. Okay. All right. So you say that our lives have a theme, like say someone is learning about forgiveness. Well, I mean, that's eventually when they learn that lesson, they pick another theme, right? Like, isn't that right? Okay, good. I just want to make sure it's not just one per person.
Yeah. No, he's saying now we choose a lot of lessons in different relationships and at different points of time. We will not choose all our lessons to come at us at once. And this is what we are going to discuss in our next lecture, the karmic phase, how it starts, how it ends.
Okay.
We are going to discuss about it.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah. So he's saying, but Mom, this is how karma gets accumulated. Out of whatever lessons, out of the number of lessons I have chosen, if I run away or if I manage to not learn any of them, this goes into my karmic account. These become my pending lessons. And obviously, I have to learn all of those lessons. And that's what we call karmic balancing also. You have to finish all your lessons to come out of the reincarnation process.
Our souls. Go ahead.
And that's why karmic balancing is a concept, and that's why karmic balancing comes into the picture, because you have to learn and experience everything that you're meant to learn and grow to the advanced levels of the spirit world.
Okay. Are there souls, are souls different in that some like are a little bit too timid to take on these rougher lessons, so they keep them in the pending, bank? And there's some that are like, just do it, man. Let's get this done.
He's saying, Mom, there are two aspects to it. One, yes, there are certain soul characteristics. A soul is born with certain characteristics. And he spoke even about the soul characteristics in our initial lectures when he said that, when the soul gets separated from the creator, and it's the part of the ocean, and we take out the glass from one part of the ocean, and that part of the water might be more bluer, will be more saline, and will have less sand. And if you take a glass of water from some other part of the same shore, the water might have more sand and less salinity. So I think that's exactly how a soul is born out of the creator, and the manner it separates from the creator. Every soul has certain soul characteristics. So yes, according to soul characteristics, a soul's journey will always differ. It will always be subjective. But Mom, what's important is that every reincarnation you learn something. So if in your lifetime you've already learned to take risks, so you'll be taking risks back in the spirit world with your soul plan also.
Oh, okay.
So you learn while you are on your journey, you learn and you become a better and better version of yourself. And that affects your future soul plans also, because that's how you will plan your soul, because your lessons, your soul characteristics will all come into the picture while you're making your choices. So if I've enjoyed adventure, and if I have learned confidence, and I have faced my fears maybe, and I have overcome my fears, I'll be much more adventurous soul, and I will choose much more adventurous soul plan, which will have a lot of risks, and I'll still be confident that I'll go through it, and maybe I'll actually go through it and be successful at it. So it really depends, because the soul is progressing with every reincarnation. So it really depends which point of evolution you are at while you're planning that particular soul plan. And that will determine your choices in your soul plan also. And that will determine the type of life you will live. Saying, you see, Mom, there are people who are so daredevils. They'll be up for any adventure, they'll be up for any experience, and these are the souls who have learned those lessons. And there are timid, shy people who will be scared at every point of choice in their life. And everyone is at a given point of time in their journey. If I have learned certain lessons, there are still lessons pending for me, and similarly for the other soul. And that's how you will act even when we are in the body.
Okay.
Because it comes naturally. Yeah. So he's saying, Mom, after a lot of lifetimes, we'll come at a point where fresh lessons are exhausted, and there are only pending lessons to be learned. And that's when I will not have free will even in the spirit world, because these pending lessons will govern my soul plan. I'll have to choose these lessons. And mostly the soul chooses these lessons with the same spiritual partners, because it's tad bit easier for the soul to learn and accomplish them, because the soul has gone through those set of conditions with that particular soul, and it's easier to come back with that same soul and go through that same set and attempt to learn it again.
Of course, yeah.
Although he's saying the level of difficulty will be higher than the first time.
So if you have pending karma in a certain relationship, does that mean that the other person also has that same pending karma?
So he's saying, Mom, it's a huge permutation and combination game. So if I'm with that same partner, maybe that partner must have learned the lesson in that particular lifetime and has some other lesson to learn from me. So the experience will change a bit, but I'll invite the same experience from that soul, because I still need to learn that same lesson.
I got it.
There are a lot of permutation, and again, Akashic records come into the picture, because all the information is available with you. Which soul needs to learn which lessons. If I have this spiritual partner and I want to enter, when is the spiritual partner reincarnating again? Is he or she reincarnating along with me? All this information is available to you through the Akashic reports.
Okay.
And that's how you plan.
We should do a thing on the Akashic records. That'd be fun.
Yes.
I think we did it, but it's so long ago, so it'd be fun to do.
Yeah. He's also saying that from this lecture onwards, let's start the interactive question and answers, Mom. He's saying, I want the viewers to post a question in the comment section. That will be easier, because all those who are viewing the lecture will have more perspective, more answers to their questions. he's saying, I want to start from this lecture, although there is very little that we have learned about karma. There's so much more to learn about karma, but we'll start from here so that the basics are clear. So the viewers can, post their questions in the comment section. Why in the comment section? Because all the viewers who are seeing will be able to see the answers and the question, and they'll have more perspective and more understanding.
Nice. Very nice.
And of course, he's increased my work. I have to keep answering.
Oh my goodness.
But he's so stoked about the idea because, he says there are so many questions after the lecture, and he doesn't like those questions going unanswered. You know how he is. Like if you ask him one question and he's so excited to teach everything about it.
Yes. Oh,
So
my little professor.
Yeah. So there's just one thing. I told him, of course, it will increase my work. He's saying the questions which are posted within 24 hours of you posting the video will only be entertained, so that I have my work cut out. So that I have my work cut out for myself. And the questions should be short and concise. And the questions should be connected to the topic of the lecture. Not
they will not be answered. So within the first 24 hours, karma related, boom.
All so right. That will, and these question and answers, every viewer, whenever they a chance upon the lecture and they see the comments, they will have more understanding insight through the question and answers in the comment section also. Of course. It's good for everybody involved. I'll try and be as prompt as possible because I'm in India and there's this time difference, but I'll do my best to answer as many as possible. I just need the questions to be connected to the topic of that particular lecture so that there is more connection and more understanding. Otherwise, we tend to go haywire with our questions and
right. So if you pose a question within 24 hours of the posting of this video and it doesn't get answered, you got to ask yourself, well, I was asking for a message from Aunt Pauline on the other side. That's not going to work. Okay, I got it. Has to be related to the topic. Sounds good. Anything else you want to share, Erik or Renuka?
He's saying, Mom, we'll keep it short this time, and next time we'll be learning about how a karma phase is activated. How do we know the time for karmic balancing has come? Karmic balancing only means to learn and to teach, but how do we know when in life we have to learn and teach? How does the karma phase gets activated? That's what we're going to learn in the next lecture, and this is how the series will go forward.
Sounds great. All right. Thank you, my love, Erik. Thank you, Renuka. You guys get in touch with her at channelingspiritworld.com. And I love you all. Be sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything, right? Because you might, miss the next one where there's a 24-hour thing going on. So don't forget to do that. All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.